Whitechapel, East London, was home to one of England's most notorious and elusive murderers, Jack the Ripper. In this series, we delve into the horrifying murders, from their gruesome beginnings to their mysterious end. Welcome to Haunted Histories, where the truth is more terrifying than fiction. In 1888, England was ruled by Queen Victoria, and the British Empire was at its peak. London was the world's largest capital city, but East London painted a different picture. The area was overcrowded, poverty-stricken, and plagued by crime, with little hope for its residents. Families often lived crammed into single rooms, struggling to survive. Whitechapel had the city's highest crime and death rates. It was also home to many immigrant communities, leading to racial tensions worsened by unemployment and overcrowding. While there were hard-working, law-abiding citizens, the area was also filled with slums, drunken violence, and rampant crime. For the poorest, lodging houses, or bunkhouses, provided shelter. These were large buildings where people could rent a bed for a night. If they couldn't afford one, they had to sleep standing, leaning against a rope. These buildings were often in disrepair, their upkeep neglected by landlords. The surrounding streets and alleys were dark, winding, and filled with filth, creating a grim and dangerous environment. Many women facing desperate circumstances turned to prostitution just to afford a bed in these lodging houses. These women, poor, vulnerable, and struggling, became the primary targets of a brutal killer who emerged in Whitechapel in 1888. Over 4 terrifying months, Jack the Ripper committed a series of savage murders, spreading fear throughout the city. There are 5 canonical victims of Jack the Ripper, cases widely accepted as his work. However, some believe his killing spree may have begun earlier, with other attacks that remain debated. Among these potential early victims, 2 cases stand out. On the night of April 3, 1888, Emma Smith was brutally attacked. Despite her injuries, she managed to make it to the London hospital on Whitechapel Road, helped by 2 women from her lodging house. Before succumbing to her wounds the next morning, she told doctors she had been beaten and robbed by a gang of men. Because of her testimony, Emma Smith is not considered a Ripper victim. Jack the Ripper was believed to be a lone killer. However, her death was significant, as it led to the creation of the Whitechapel Murders File, which would later include the Ripper killings. Martha Tabram, a prostitute in her late 30s, was attacked in the early hours of August 7, 1888. The previous night, she and her friend, Mary Ann Connolly, had picked up 2 soldiers and gone their separate ways. The next morning, John Saunders Reeves, on his way to work, discovered Martha's body sprawled on the landing of George Yard buildings. Her arms were by her sides, her legs spread apart. She had been stabbed 39 times. The obvious suspects were the soldiers she had been with, but despite a police lineup, neither was ever identified. 2 witnesses had passed through the area earlier, but had not seen her body, possibly due to the poor lighting. This has led to speculation. Was she killed by one of the soldiers, or did another client murder her later that night? Martha's murder occurred near the heart of the Ripper's later killings. Her wounds were concentrated in the same areas as the Ripper victims, though her throat was not cut, a signature trait of the Ripper murders. Several police officials who worked on the case believed Martha Tabram was Jack the Ripper's first victim. To this day, her murder remains one of the most debated unsolved cases. The murder of Martha Tabram shocked London, but it was only the beginning. Over the next 4 months, Whitechapel would become the scene of one of the most gruesome and terrifying killing sprees in history. Join us in the next episode as we continue unraveling the dark and chilling story of Jack the Ripper.